Hi guys, it's Lucy and welcome back to another video. It's been a blooming long time as always since I've made a video. So considering this is 2021 was my final year at university, I thought it was a very good time to round up the past year and the past 3 years kind of thing into a video. So yeah, let's just get on with a rambling video. Might insert some clips as we go along. Yeah. So in January I was offered a job with my trust to help out with COVID. Absolutely brilliant experience that has been. That has helped my confidence loads. And being able to work with your mentor as a second crew member rather than third crew member has been such a brilliant thing for me personally. It's definitely something I'm so glad I did. And yeah, in February I turned 21. Had a bit of a celebration in my flat. One of my flatmates was waiting for COVID results, so we had to isolate for the majority of it. Hey ho, we made the most of it. In March I lost my grandma to COVID. Flipping crap time, to be honest with you. And I think still as a family we're grieving. In April I carried on with placement, completely and massively struggled with placement. I ended up with new mentors again. Just massively struggled with placement. I had no confidence, didn't believe myself in anything I did, struggled with the basic tasks, started questioning myself on the most basic things of whether I need to, I don't know, do a blood pressure on a patient, or just little things like that. I started second guessing myself on, so I couldn't become a better clinician because I was second guessing myself on the more basic stuff. I then had an OSCE. At the time I applied for exceptional circumstances due to my grandma's death. I couldn't concentrate on studying. I would literally just sit at this desk, stare at my paper, and 9 times out of 10 just sit and cry, grieving. So in the end I applied for EC. Problem was I didn't know if I was getting EC or not by the time the exam came round, and if I didn't sit the OSCE and didn't get EC, then I would have been capped at 40% and failed the exam kind of thing. So I had to sit the exam, and I'm very grateful to my friend who sat with me the day before and we studied for hours and hours. And I came out with one of the best grades I've had on an OSCE. May time I began having interviews for jobs. One of the interviews went completely horribly wrong because the fire alarm went off halfway through. Bearing in mind all interviews were online. So I had to redo the interview another time, and that was in June. I had to redo it. Then by about June I began kind of thinking I needed to kind of look after my mental health a bit more. For the past two and a half years I've been literally just constant studying, working, studying, placement, and never really given myself enough time off. So by about June and July I was like, I'm gonna just have to do it. Still struggling with my grandma's death. Me and my flatmates drove to the beach. Bearing in mind I don't live near a beach. So we drove quite a while to get to a beach, and it was just something we all needed, just to sit, just watch the ocean. I did have a little bit of a moment. It was the beach I went to every year with my grandma, so I did have a little moment while I was there, but yeah, it was really nice. By July we were going to the beach again, the same beach. Did like loads of little bits, as a flat and things like that. In August we had a massive ant infestation in our flat. To be told there was nothing they could do for us. They got pest control in their fin, and they just kept coming back, and they just told us to basically get on with it until they died off. Also in August I had 3 essays due. They were to do with placement, I think, if I remember rightly. That seems so long ago now. And then I had another job interview. Finally I had a bit of summer holidays. I don't think I really did much. I think I went home, but it was nice to have. In September I had another OSCE, the final OSCE I think. Yeah, my final ever OSCE. So in April I had a minor injuries OSCE, and then September I had minor illness. And then also in September I submitted my dissertation. Finally, I've literally spent from January until September on that essay, good 9 months, and I was glad to see the end of it. In October I had 2 presentations, one of them being my dissertation presentation and the other one being the evolution of paramedic practice, basically, as the module. Finally, as well, in October, because of the COVID restrictions in March, we weren't able to have a wake for my grandma. So in October we had a little celebration of life for her, and finally got to actually meet people that she knew, hear all the stories about her, and it was really, really nice. In November I had my final day at university. In November we did multiple simulation days. We did an RTC day, we did a maternity day, and then finally we did a major incident exercise, which then led us to our final day at university. Yeah, it all came and went very, very quickly, and it was a good day and a nice kind of way to end it all. Also in November I finally got to use my birthday present from February. I went and did a reindeer experience. Those that don't know, deer are one of my favourite animals. I live in the countryside back home, we see them all the time, so to walk a reindeer was a pretty good experience. And also in November I focused on placement again. The final day of uni was the final day for the majority of people. For me, I struggled so much with placement, became so withdrawn due to my grandma's death and everything. I ended up having to do extra placement. So from about June time I was picking up extra shifts here and there, but then by November time I was picking it up full time again. And finally I started to begin to feel like myself again, like I was doing things properly, like I was understanding the job, and like I was actually able to become a paramedic. Something I really, really struggled with this year is knowing that I can do it. I'm quite capable of becoming a paramedic. There was just this one hurdle I needed to overcome, and I couldn't figure out what that hurdle was, but finally I've overcome that. December, I, at the start of the month, sat my C1 theory. Had a massive stress because it was the only test date available when I was booking, and it happened to be 2.5 hours away from where I live. And I got really lost. The main road that you had to go on to get there was shut. Sat-nav wasn't diverting me or anything like that. It kept taking me around a circle. So the journey ended up being 3.5 hours. Arrived there 5 minutes with 5 minutes to spare, and it just wasn't the best kind of whole day to sit an exam. So I didn't do very well and I failed. So that is something to resit. Finally, in December, on my last week of what would be placement for students not signed off, I finally got signed off. To know your mentor finally feels you're capable of doing this job without someone there to hold your hand, kind of speak, it's such a special moment. Especially with how much extra work I've had to put in this year and how much I've struggled. To be signed off was a bloody good day. And then I worked one final shift with my other mentor, which was a lovely shift, and it was just nice to really round things off in that sense. And then I've had a good week and a half off over Christmas, and then I was back into work 28th onwards into New Year's, and it was a really nice, I wouldn't say I want to work New Year's every year kind of thing, but it was a nice experience. And that is my year. I wouldn't say it's been my favourite ever year going. I think people said 2020 was the hardest year, and I think for me 2021 definitely was. And yeah, I'm hoping 2022 picks up a little bit, and I hope to have a bit more faith in myself in this year and actually look after my mental health a bit more and know when I need to take time away. I spend so much time working, studying, all of that stuff. I don't necessarily take time out, so that's something I'm definitely working on for 2022. Yeah. 2022 is the year I become a paramedic, the goal I've had since I was 12 years old, and yeah, it's pretty crazy. Just want to thank everyone for the support over the past 3 years at university, and I will see you in a video very, very soon. Bye guys.